Hello there and welcome along. The Gardener Ben here with your next rose review, and it was very difficult on what to do with this particular rose. I've decided to pick it and bring it to you in a vase. Just look at this. Wow. Just wow. Now, I chose to cut this one and bring this to you in a vase like it is here because it's just a little bit easier to handle, a little bit easier to demonstrate the sheer size and the scale of these particular blooms. Today's rose that I'd like to talk to you about is a hybrid tea bred and introduced by Cordes in 2001. This absolute stunner is Buxom Beauty. I mean, look at those flowers. They are absolutely enormous. Buxom Beauty, as you'd expect it to be, is a large, blousy and very flamboyant hybrid tea, flowering freely on upright and sturdy stems, perfect for cutting from June all the way through to the end of September. But it's the size and scale of these flowers that really does leave you quite astonished. That, together with a really lovely color palette and combination of foliage and flowers together. So let's start with a little bit of foliage, shall we? Buxom Beauty creating a shrub, a very upright shrub of around 3.5 to 4 feet tall and around 3 feet wide. It's bolt upright, as you'd expect from a hybrid tea. Stems very straight and true, nice strong stems, absolutely perfect for cutting. But it's the color combination. If I bring this close into the camera, it does take on this lovely burgundy red tinge, but it's not really quite burgundy. It heads almost sort of a gunmetal smoky gray. The stems also take on this same color hue as well. Really very attractive, but it doesn't fade out of the new growth. Quite often with many roses, you'll get this burgundy and red flushing to the growth at the very beginning of the flushes of flowers, early on in the season as the plant comes into flower and produces lots of growth. However, with Buxom Beauty, the same colour is mirrored all the way through the season. Even once it's actually leafed out completely, you still have this lovely sort of smoky grey edge to the foliage. Deeply serrated on the outer edges, there is a small amount of barbing along the back of the leaf axil, and a small amount of mossing as well to the actual leaf stems themselves. But this lovely grey-green smoky hue followed through all the way from when the plant's first leaves out all the way through to actually when the leaves are fully extended. This is its actual coloration, which picks up on this really lovely tone. Absolutely beautiful. So flowers borne on very strong upright stems. Plant reaching around 3 to 3.5 feet in height. You can see the strength of these stems here to be able to support a bloom this size. The only other flower that I've seen of this size for a long time was Fragonard, which I reviewed way back in 2022 or 2023. Again, capable of producing absolutely enormous flowers. I mean, these are only just opening out, measuring something in a region at the moment of about 5 to 5.5 inches across. According to the internet, the flowers on this one could actually reach over 6 inches, 15 centimeters in diameter. They are absolutely enormous. So not just one, just two. The plant in question is absolutely smothered in buds. These are the first flowers that I decided to take off of it, but off of a relatively small bush, I say only coming up to 3 to 3.5 feet. These are really large. Stems incredibly strong and very upright. Absolutely perfect for cutting or exhibiting if you wanted to exhibit a rose bloom in, for instance, a local horticultural show. This one, Buxom Beauty, may be one that you want to look out for your collection, or one that you want to cut and bring into the house. Because of its makeup, the sheer amount of petals, I think this one, look at my notes quickly, yes, 50 petals contained in the actual flower themselves. This doesn't hold up particularly well, as you'd expect, to wind and rain. It does get waterlogged, it does ball, it does mean the flowers are going to droop over and maybe even snap off of the plant during inclement weather. So make sure that you plant this one in a very sheltered position in the garden. Give it a location of full sun, give it at least 5 or 6 hours of direct sunlight per day, and it will reward you with absolutely mountains of these absolutely fabulous huge flowers. They're a really lovely strong magenta, dark magenta pink, with hues of platinum and silver grey as the flower ages. You can see that just blushing out ever so slightly around the outer edges, those petals rolling back to the stems as they age. So just an hour or two ago, these were quite tightly spiraled. Just a little puff is enough to open them through. Now, the fragrance on Buxom Beauty is also very distinctive. It's warm and spicy, so it's myrrh based, There are notes of wood and cloves there, but something very interesting as well. Not something you normally get with a myrrh fragrance. It has notes of spiced orange, and that's very, very specific. So think back to when you're heating uh, um, mulled wine at Christmas. You might be using oranges and you're cooking at Christmas. It's that sort of orangey scent, warm orange mixed with cloves and sandalwood, a little bit of cinnamon, which you get from it. It's very, very pleasant. I was expecting something very floral. From a hybrid tea, I was expecting something very, very fresh and very clean, but it's not. It's very woody. It's very earthy. It really is very, very pleasant. Say 60 petals or 50 to 60 petals per bloom measuring around 5 to 6 inches across. This one, I say, bred by Korbilant, which means it's going to have a great disease resistance. Today, I have the pleasure in awarding Buxom Beauty a 7 out of 10 for disease resistance. Fragrance rating, I'm going to be offering this one a solid 6. It really is very, very pleasant, but it's the size of the flowers on this one that's just particularly lovely, along with the foliage combination, that really, really lovely smoky grey hue to the foliage, which is setting this one apart. This one is hybrid tea Buxom Beauty, available from many different sources, but here in the UK, easy to get hold of through Peter Bill's Roses. This is Buxom Beauty.